Welcome to Board Ghost, a story broadcast with games as the engine.
If living is a highway, then heaven is a bus stop. Been waiting for a minute there, or has it been forever?
We believe you're out there. We can't see you, can't hear you, yet we will play for you. This night's offering is Follow. This is a game designed by Ben Robbins, who also designed Microscope and a game we've played on Board Ghost before, Kingdom. To find out how we generate our story using the game Follow, go check out the Follow game primer. Our humble players, myself, John Holt, with me,
Ken Breeze.
Follow is a game about working together to achieve a common goal. Slay the dragon, cure a disease, overthrow a tyrant. Get your candidate elected. We'll pick a quest together and decide what kind of game we want to play. Can we stay united and succeed, or will our differences tear us apart? We'll play and find out. Follow isn't about us coming up with the best plan or a clever solution. It's about seeing what these characters do for better or worse. We may even intentionally make bad choices because they seem like decisions our characters would make. But even if we do everything perfectly, our quest may fail. As players, we can push for the outcome we want to see, but we cannot guarantee it. Our story may surprise us, and that's part of the fun. All right, so we've generated our quest. We've got the heist, and the score of the heist is a rare cheese that is kept in a cult leader collector's storehouse under heavy guard. And this is a future dystopia with no dairy animals, and this defensive grid. We'll get into that in a second. Our crew is a new crew. We're kind of newly formed, and we're all within the criminal world. We're part of a seedy underbelly, but a mixed bag of skill sets and level of skills. So our crew is the wheel crew, and our challenges, the things that make our heist difficult, is that this is a big wheel of cheese guarded by a high-tech security system and by some genetically modified zealots. This group that we're trying to steal from, this cult leader collector, he's a leader of they are a leader of a super cult religion, and they have their fingers in quite a few areas of the world, and hard to tell who's part of this group, and they are known for their violent retribution to detractors. So who knows what happens when one of their cult leaders' artifacts is taken.
Yeah, one of their ancient artifacts.
All right, so let's go through our characters. Ken, who is your main character?
Sure, my main character is a young man named Winston. He is a natural at creating synthetic and cloned dairy products, and he sells those on the black market. He joined the crew to get the recipe, to get a hunk of this cheese. He believes that the bacteria that are part of it will help him spawn a whole new line of products for his customers. He also has sort of this relationship with John's character, where he's really trying to get John's character to teach him things about being a criminal, but it's not going very well.
All right, so my main character is Garth, who is a hardened criminal with a violent reputation. Garth wants to discredit the cult. Somehow he thinks getting a hold of this artifact will let him do that in order to help deprogram his daughter or lure her away from the cult. And Garth's connection to Dee's character is that they want trust for being not just seen as their violent reputation. They want to be seen as not just a hired gun or hired muscle, but someone that can be trusted and in turn worked with to get some serious stuff done.
The cause.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm playing Felicity, the exile. She was once a member of this cult, but was cast out as a young woman and has spent the next 20 years of her life trying to find a way to get revenge on this cult leader who she sees as a complete hypocrite. So really from the quest, she wants revenge, but all of that is masked by her want to sort of change the world. She has this sort of revolutionary, idealistic idea that bringing this cheese to the masses will change the world for the better, the lactose-free world. And from Ken's character, Winston, she wants Winston to use his technology to make cheese for the masses. And she really wants him to care about her revolution, about changing the world.
All right.
And he sure isn't.
Yeah.
But where our world is a dystopian world, and there's a big gap between rich and poor. So it's very futuristic. There is a lot of technology. So it's not like a apocalyptic wasteland or something like that. It's more high rises and dirty streets.
Mm-hmm. And so who is your minor character, Ken?
That's right. We're all playing minor characters as well. The minor character that I am playing is Boodle the Bomber. He is a mutants demolition expert who works with Felicity on her revolutionary aims.
All right. And I've got Wally the Kid. He's a tag-along, a little bit younger than Winston. He's Winston's younger brother.
He's my brother.
And he, he grew up doesn't have quite the cheese forging skills, but he's picked his fair share of pockets and can carry himself. But he follows his brother into fire.
And my minor character is Rat. He's kind of partners with John's character Garth. He is an escape artist. He's an extraction artist. He's a bit of a hacker, and he knows his way around locks and technology. So they often have worked together in the past, and they're sort of old partners.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Cool. So now we're going to get into play. I'm going to say break in.
Break in
Go
is
right
our
into
first
it.
challenge.
So why it's difficult. And then I'll pick who gets to start, and we'll talk about how long it may take to do this. We're going to break in. The building is part of a larger compound, and it's a walled compound. So first we have to breach the perimeter of this walled compound, make our way to the center of this fortified and heavily populated area full of sycophants and guarded along the walls, get into the locked tower that has some high-end biometric information that we'll need to provide to get through. And then we need to find the location of this room. And the room, this is a modular building where the rooms shift position. We need to figure out a way to either move the room to where we want it to be or find the room where it is now in the current configuration and defeat the bevy of guards that sort of maintain these artifacts. That's the break-in. That's why it's difficult. There is a whole lot of stuff between us
Sure is.
and the goal. I'm going to pick you as the first player, D, that Felicity is, because Felicity has knowledge of this, right? So our first challenge is the break-in, and I'm picking Felicity to be our first player. And now, as a group, we need to decide the pace. So what is the pace of this scene? How long we envision this challenge taking? Is it something that would take minutes, hours, days, weeks, months, years? How long does it take us to break in? How long would this task take in? Is it something where, honestly, the response time is 5 minutes because that's how long it takes for the city, city security will actually be held at the wall by the internal security. So we have 5 minutes until the police alert the internal security if we haven't alerted them already, and 2 minutes after that before the internal security respond to us. So 7 minutes to complete this task.
Okay.
If we don't alert the internal security on our way in. Is that, but that's my suggestion. What do you guys feel?
I thought it would take an hour.
Yeah, I was thinking hours.
Hours? I
Yeah,
thought
a
an
couple
hour.
hours.
Oh, yeah?
But maybe I was imagining something more stealthy
That's what I was imagining. It's right.
Yeah, considering how many people there are around.
But I like the idea of making it 7 minutes because then,
Yeah,
then
maybe-
we're just under the gun. So
Yeah,
let's
maybe
just
we
make it
were
7 minutes.
expecting it to take an hour or hours, but in reality, it has become a 7 minute.
I mean, if we have it timed to the minute, I mean, we can.
And it's all about choreography.
Yeah, it's all about. choreography.
I mean, we got a big old crew here. We have minutes to do this
to do
job.
it. Yep.
And so you set the scene.
The scene is we have, however it's been done, we've made it over the wall, and now Felicity, Garth is there, and I think Boodle the Bomber would be there too.
All right.
And we are getting ready to make our way through the heavily populated inner areas towards the building where the compound is located, moving through all the common areas of this sort of like electronic garden, fake trees made of like neon lights and all kinds of stuff. And there are everywhere these cultists in their sort of religious activities. So Felicity has tried to has cobbled together from memory like the ritual robes that the cultists
Yes.
wear. Everyone has disguises, and she's instructed you on how to genuflect to other worshippers and how to like chant along with the different chants that they're doing. But all of this is kind of based on her like 20 years ago information. So yeah, so now we've like made it over the wall, and maybe we're hiding behind some of the architecture and are getting into our ritual robes. And then, so Felicity says, remember what I told you. Just if anybody looks at you, just look down, keep your hoods up. Make sure that if anyone makes the ritual gestures to you, just make them back. Just keep moving no matter what. It's common for people to be moving quickly. Like, we just have to act important and just try and get to that building as fast as we can.
Well, if we get into trouble, I got some grenades.
No, you can't let off the grenades. As soon as that happens, I'm sure like the police, like the security is going to come running. We have to go. Like, we just have to go now, and don't do anything crazy.
But if things go a little hard, a little south, we may need a distraction there, Boodle.
I'll do whatever it takes for the revolution, man.
That's right. But just stay focused on the mission. We have to get that cheese. We have to get there. All right. Like, nothing else matters. That's the most important thing.
All right, but I don't know. I mean, are we gonna? I feel like we still stick out like a sore thumb.
Well, just I don't know. Just hunch over. Like, don't touch anyone. Don't do anything. Come on. Like, we have to go. Like, get these things on. We've got to get out of here.
It's not fitting around my teats. And Boodle, all the genetic modifications that have been on him to try and make him a milk-producing man have basically created these sort of like sow's teats that are sort of hanging off his chest and belly. And so he has this sort of really weird sort of form about him where he is already sort of hunched over. And so he's trying to like get the robe around his bulbous teats.
Look, man, they don't hearken to mottos in this cult. I mean, you remember the culling that they did?
We've been in worse situations than this. Me and you, Felicity.
Yeah, you're right. You're right, Boodle. Like, here, let me help you. And she reaches out and like tugs some of the
Careful.
the robes down.
Oh, careful.
Shh. Someone will hear you. Come on, we have to go. Like, this is wasting time. We have to get out of here.
I think we've been standing around too long, right?
Yeah, maybe. Like, Felicity's super nervous, and she's glancing around, and maybe a couple of cultists kind of like come around the corner and sort of notice like we're now in our robes, but we're sort of like fussing with each other and making a little noise.
Here, take this in case our genuflections are not seen kindly. And Garth passes you a knife, a small like like vibro switchblade.
And Felicity is, I mean, she's familiar with this kinds of things. She like kind of glares at Garth because, maybe they had talked about what they were bringing into the situation. And so this is something that like they hadn't talked about. So you could tell that she's just irritated and she like slides it under her robes.
Don't worry, Felicity. We're doing it for the cause.
I know. I know that, Poodle. I know that you are. I know that you believe in it. We have to go. We can't talk anymore. We have to get out of here.
All right, I'm on your back.
You're on my back.
I mean, on your 6.
Oh, okay.
Is that not the term? I don't.
I don't know. I'm not an expert, obviously, at this.
All right. So what happens?
As we come around the corner, we kind of like bump past those cultists and we sort of hurriedly like do the genuflections or whatever, but they seem a little suspicious, but we kind of like run on towards our destination, toward the compound that we're looking for.
Towards the tower.
Yeah, towards the tower.
So
All
we're
right.
getting past the scads of zealots, if you will,
Mm-hmm.
and we're getting on towards the tower. We're having to take care of the biometric security to get into the tower. I think Rat is there, Wally is there, and I think Winston is there. The 3 others in the gang and the crew who sort of were sent to open this door. And so the 3 of us are there. We're inside this sort of automatic teller machine hutch.
Yeah,
sort
it's
of
like an antechamber.
Yeah, like an antechamber. It sort of sticks out, but it's open air. The front of it is open. And so we're sort of in there and we're skulking around. Rat and Winston are arguing about what's the best way to do this.
And Wally's got eyes on the scene.
Yeah,
he's the lookout.
Yeah, he's the lookout.
Mm-hmm.
And Winston's saying, I brought these contacts. We just put them. That's what the
No,
plan
man,
was.
that
the
ain't gonna
contact.
work. This is the biometric scanner, man. Don't you know what bio means? It's gotta be real flesh. Like none of that synthetic shit's gonna work.
What? I made these myself. I'm an artist. Don't you understand?
Oh, man.
Keep it down.
Ain't nothing about art. He like rummages around in a pouch and he like
Well,
squishes
listen.
out like a handful of like meat.
And Winston sort of like scrunches up his nose and says, "Well,
Whoa, guys, duck back. There's some movies coming.
oh, shh.
And Rat like reaches out a hand and like squishes the Winston, the kid
we
up
slide,
against the wall.
We slide against the wall in the shadows, and some robed figures briskly move past.
My breath hot on the back of your neck. I say, whisper, hiss. You worked with Garth a long time.
Yeah, what of it?
I respect what you've done. Go ahead. I'll watch. I'm here to learn.
He kind of glances back at the kid and like takes his arm away, and he goes up to the scanner, which is like you said, it's sort of like an ATM machine,
Yeah.
and there's like a slot and like a red like a laser beam. He like takes a couple of hands and sifts through his pal's meat, and he brings out like an eyeball and then like kind of like a finger, and it's all sort of squishy and bloody, and he like squishes the eyeball into the laser beam and the finger into the slot.
that how that
Hey,
works?
Winnie, why'd you let him walk all over you like that?
Oh, come on, Wally. We're they're professionals.
Yeah, but come on, you're much better than this guy. You could, hell, you could have whipped up like better Genos than that guy did. Come on, I've seen your Genos skills.
And I pat you on the shoulder, saying, "Don't worry, I'm saving the best stuff for last. We'll let them use their shit to get us in here."
In the background, there's like kind of like a negative beep, like "Meow," like something's not working, and Rat sort of like he like bangs the console, and then he fishes
Is that
out.
a best practice?
Shut up, kid. Let me work. He like
I'm not seeing any work. I'm seeing a murder.
he like fiddles around with the bits of meat again, and then a small CD-ROM drive kind of tray pokes out of it, and then he spits into it, and it slides back into the machine. And then there's like a beep, a hatch opens, allowing further entrance. See, I told you it'd work, kid.
They said you can get in and get out anywhere. I believe it, Rat.
You better believe it, kid. Let's go.
Oh, here comes the rest of the crew.
Yeah, they all catch up. The thing is, though, you did have the consequences. You did have some better, geodes, like genetic
Yeah.
materials that could have worked. And there's some suspicious stains and like dripping biometric
left on the
machine
biometrics, from the
rats,
shoddy.
by rats,
the
sort of
shoddy.
like slapdash workmanship.
Yeah. Oh, rat.
Hey, whatever works.
Having seen that, I think I sort of confide in Wally Winston does, as he says, I was wrong. This guy doesn't know anything. I mean, he's just disgusting.
He is sort of disgusting. He's like a
He's a rat.
He's like a tall, skinny guy, buck teeth, greasy hair.
All right, so I'm going to set up our new scene, right? Garth and Felicity, like everyone kind of split up into a few groups. We knew that there were we had these sort of like meet back points and ways to check in. Like it was always sort of like we're a modular crew, right? So Garth and Felicity split. They're taking the direct approach, like to persuade someone to tell them where this stuff is.
Yes.
Right? And Felicity and Garth come upon an acolyte. And Ken, if you could play the acolyte.
Of course.
Felicity's initial, you're the one who's supposed to take the lead and using your knowledge to try to convince this guy, this acolyte or girl, this woman to give up the cheese, give up the information about like how or where this room is.
Felicity recognizes this acolyte.
She was a child when you left.
She was like at 20.
Okay, so now.
Felicity was 20. This person was a
this
child.
This Mooey is.
This Mooey is.
This Moodin.
And she's one of the brides of the leader.
They kind of like come up behind this young woman. She reaches behind her to like cover up her mouth, and like grab her. And Garth is helping her, and they kind of like pull her off to the side.
She's struggling.
And as they kind of turn her around, Felicity looks into this girl's face and recognizes her. And she says, Melissa?
There's a panic in the young woman's eyes at being dragged off into a dark corner by two people she doesn't know.
And Garth is a little bit torn, but he leans in and goes, if you're quiet, you won't get hurt. Not if you understand.
Melissa's eyes are wide and sort of wild, but as her name is said, she sort of focuses more on Felicity's face until Garth comes in and says peace, and then she sort of freaks out a little bit more looking at Garth.
Not if you understand, and I apply some pressure to her arm.
And she's like, she does this like weird sort of like vibrating nod where she's just like shaking basically.
And Felicity like shoots Garth a look like,
yeah,
what are you doing?
What needs to be done? And I give a light like just like a gentle little like
a gentle slap. Okay.
Gentle, just kind of like
a gentle
hey,
strike.
hey, like stay with me here.
All right.
You're gonna be fine. We don't want to hurt you. This lady. She knows you. You just need to talk to her. Nod if you're gonna understand and not scream when I take my hand away.
Eyes wide. She does nod.
It's okay. It's Melissa. It's okay. It's
so
me.
I take my hand away.
And she stammers, Sister Feely?
It's just Felicity now. Melissa, you know why I left. What we are here because we have to do something really important.
Yes, you do.
Something that is so important for the world, for everyone.
It is so important. That's right.
So
you need to follow it.
We need your help.
Yes. You've come back. I know. I understand. To follow the lactose lane to everlasting life.
Melissa, you need to listen to me now. We are here to get to Overseer Wallace's private antiquity cave.
There's a bleep on our phones, and it's like, all right, no, they're not running into any luck with the computers. They're not going to be able to rearrange this, and we're running out of time.
Melissa, this is very important now. I can see from your vestments that you are a bride of the overseer, so you have access. You have access to the antiquities
You want to steal from us.
No.
You want to steal
no.
from Overseer.
Melissa, it's not stealing, Melissa. This is not
There's
something
there's
that
another
belongs
like
to
there's
him.
actually like an explosion
Yes.
somewhere on the compound and like a shaking, and I go, that's Beetle's signal. We definitely don't have time. And I push you out of the way and pull my own vibro knife and say, girlie, you got to tell us where it is right now.
Melissa, just listen to him. Just
And
tell
like,
us.
And I think that's where the scene
Yeah, I think
ends.
that's where it ends, as she's almost getting ready to
'Cause that'll
scream,
kind of, like,
maybe, or
determine-
Who knows? Yeah, exactly. So we have to pull the stones.
If your main character is unhappy about the path the Fellowship has taken, hold 1 red stone. If your main character actually wants the quest to fail, hold 2 red stones. Otherwise, hold no stones. Okay, so Felicity is holding 1 red stone, and Winston and Garth held no red stones. So you aren't happy with Felicity is not happy with the road that we've taken thus far. So we add that to the pool. As a player, do you think the Fellowship did what was necessary to succeed at the challenge? Hold white if yes, red if no. So Felicity and Garth both felt we did what was necessary, and Winston feels we did
Did
not.
Player.
Did not.
Oh, the player. The
Player.
player feels so.
Players, yeah.
All right, so Ken feels we did not do
Sure
what was
didn't.
necessary.
Cut
Whereas
her.
Garth and Felicity felt we
You wanted to
did.
blow some
Yeah,
shit up.
Cut her.
So red
stone.
and
A red
Red.
stone.
so now we go to describe the outcome
Yep.
table. Red. A character betrays or is betrayed by the Fellowship and is lost and lose the challenge.
Wow.
So we've lost the challenge.
And we lose a character.
And I lost my pen under the couch. So we lost the challenge. We put an X next to break in. We failed to break in.
Oh,
So we failed to like cleanly break in.
Right.
What does that mean to have failed breaking in?
if we failed the break-in, then I think that means
Did we betray Boodle or did Boodle betray the group?
I think we betrayed Boodle
Okay.
and we like left him to die.
Okay, so we cheese it.
Yeah. Yeah, basically. I mean, I think he's sort of the person who would kind of sacrifice themselves anyways. I'm thinking more it's the type of thing where like I think it maybe was even Winston who was like pulled the pin on like, a grenade on Boodle's belt and then kicked him out a door towards a, mass
Moonies.
crowd of movies.
Yeah, and like maybe we failed the break-in, so it seemed like things were going bad, and someone made a decision like we have to get out of here, and so then he became sort of like the sacrificial lamb for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Maybe he was working on the final part of the break-in, and then we just left him, and so then he got captured. I feel like if you think that one of your characters would be that someone
I
made a
think
decision.
my character's trying to be a hardened criminal.
Mhm.
So I think that
He made a bitter, and I
Yeah.
think too that Boodle didn't die in the
ooh,
thing.
we just betrayed him.
We betrayed
Yeah.
like he's a demo expert and
That's true.
like he knows the sound of a pin being pulled.
That's true.
Boodle the bomber was betrayed.
Was
So-
betrayed.
and we fled
Yeah.
from the compound.
I think that's how we failed to break in. Like we didn't break in. We didn't have a chance, and we had to leave.
So kind of like from that last scene on, like it was just sort of like man down, explosion, this is bad. We just got to go. Like
Yeah.
people were alerted, our time was up.
I think Felicity wouldn't have wanted to leave because Boodle was like her friend and partner. Or whatever.
Yeah, of course.
But other people insisted.
And we got to go.
Hmm.
Now somebody else sets up a scene.
Okay.
So-
A challenge.
The new challenge.
And again, we pick from the
list.
The list.
Get away. I mean, I think that's exactly where we are right now, is that we are trying to get away from this situation.
All right. So what makes the getaway difficult?
Right.
Besides all the shit that made breaking in.
Yeah. What makes the getaway difficult are that we have militarized MUIs after us. We betrayed Boodle, so he's coming for revenge.
And he knows our safe houses.
He knows our shit. Yeah, he knows our plans.
And I think that there's tension between the characters now. Because I don't think...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Felicity probably is not super happy with Winston,
Yeah.
I would assume, but still needs Winston to bring the cheese to the
Mm-hmm.
people. It makes it difficult because all of our safe houses have been compromised. So we're sort of on the
Right.
streets.
Or there, maybe we had, like it's, the classic blind man's bluff where there are safe houses that we didn't tell everyone about. Everyone had a safe house.
Of course.
But Boodle, we don't know which one Boodle does or doesn't know about.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. That's kind of cool.
It's part of the bluff. And I don't want to put ideas in it, but
No, that's a good idea. I like it. Because safe houses compromised. That's perfect. So the Mooies are after us. Boodle's looking for revenge. There's tension between us. We didn't actually get the thing. We don't have the cheese. Couldn't get the cheese.
are the actual authorities after us, or did they? Or is it more like the Moonies are after
Yeah, I
us?
think
And
it's more
that's-
like that because they want to take care of this
Cool.
there on their own. Like they don't need anybody's help.
So
They're
the
very
next,
vengeful.
The next part is the pace. How long do you guys think it will take to
Get away.
get away?
I think it will take
and succeed in
I
that.
think it will take hours. I think
Hours.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think because it's like getting out of the region almost, like just clearing out or finding a way to go to ground. Yeah, let's do hours.
Okay.
I don't want to
Yeah, I
get
think
too
hours is
bottle
good.
episode.
Yeah.
So maybe next time. I'm going to pick you, John.
All right. So I'll set the scene.
Yes.
Garth, Winston, and Rat.
Ooh.
Felicity is around. Like
Mm-hmm.
we're all effectively together. Felicity is
Maybe she's upset and is kind of like off on her own.
right. She's upset. She's actually making some calls too.
Right.
Like she's the one who is probably like she's pretty clean, and so maybe doesn't if anybody's phone is going to be tapped nowadays or whatever. Like she's making calls to see if there's someone who will put her or us up. Maybe I don't know. So she's doing her thing. Like she's looking for resources, alternative resources. Wally's
Asleep after all the
he's
excitement.
he's driving the
Oh, he's
getaway
driving?
van.
Okay.
It's a van. And so Rat, Garth, and Winston are sitting in the back
In the
of this
back.
van, like as Wally kind of caroms through the streets,
Yeah.
and we're sweating it out.
Yeah.
Wally
chain
says, like,
smoking?
hey guys, I think we got a tail. You got to help me out. And so now we got to deal with this
Yeah.
tail somehow from
Yeah.
the back of this van. You know what? Winston, just have the kid keep driving. If he stays his cool. He's a slippery guy.
We got the slipperiest of guys with us right here, don't we?
Oh yeah, he claps Wally, the little kid, like on the shoulder from the back seat. He's like, "Initiate evasive maneuvers, kid."
All right, things get really hairy though. Rat,
Yeah, boss.
we may have to use the pop guns.
All right.
Now we're talking.
Kid, me and Rat here we've slung our lead. All right. I don't want any innocent bystanders catching anything. This is a high speed one.
Well, those Mooies aren't going to leave us alone, I can tell you that much. Here, have a little something for courage.
That's
Right.
when the van, like as you pass it, something,
Yeah.
the van actually like gets jammed, and the door, like because of that, flies open.
Yeah.
and we can see like a Mooie
Hovermobile.
Cadillac,
Colt mobile.
yeah,
Yeah.
and a pair of like small little like pellet like flechette guns,
Yeah.
kind of pop up on the hood,
Yeah.
and start peppering, and I down and I actually tackle you down. Rat was down like when
Oh,
the
yeah.
first hit happened,
Yeah.
but I kind of pull you down and say,
They shooting!
yeah, you're gonna lose it, kid. Here, we don't have much of a choice. And he hands
Wally,
you
put your head down!
a slug pistol.
Oh, and I take it, and it's so heavy, and I just sort of stare at it. My face, though, doesn't go white or pale, but in fact flushes, ready.
All right, and Rat kind of turns around, and he sees Garth give Winston the gun, and he's like, "You better get down, kid. I got some tricks of my own. And he like pulls his coat over his head and like shifts this visor down, and you see he's got like this backpack.
Rat attack!
And so he like pulls his visor down, and as he does, like the twin pair of like guns come out of the backpack. So that he's sort of like looking out, like over the back seat. His visor sort of like the heads-up display for targeting, and he starts like shooting out the back window of the van into the movies.
Is this how he usually escapes?
Yeah. This is how you do it. And so your little like pellets are like they shred up the hood. They actually like burst off one of the other flechette guns, and the thing like veers this little vehicle, and you see that there's a couple more coming up behind it. Like these little yellow cars are zipping out of the way. These little drone cars, and your small bullets just like spider web the windshield of this car. And they aren't penetrating. This is like a bulletproof glass. And I pull out, like, my slug thrower is, like, I gave you my ankle.
Your backup.
This thing is, and so I just, like, Garth just aims one arm, and boom, it actually hurls him back and almost knocks him, like, into the front
like a
by
blunderbuss.
Wally. And this slug goes thump, right, like it just pushes in the glass, and you see that car spin and flip back, and there's an explosion as Wally turns the corner, and that's our scene.
Nice.
Felicity is there. She's been able to get a successful kind of safe house, which turns out to be sort of this like abandoned farm, because now
yeah, of course.
there aren't any animals
There
right
aren't any
anymore.
animals.
So
Like a graveyard.
yeah, it's just like sort of decrepit. There's like a barn. The actual house homestead is sort of like destroyed and decrepit, but the barn is structurally holds up enough. She's been able to convey the location to like Garth and Winston and everybody. So after their escape from earlier, Garth is there and Winston's there.
Okay. Winston has found an ancient milker. It sort of was hanging from a beam, and the hoses are all sort of rotten, but he's sort of like pulling it down and sort of messing with the tech. It's all sort of rusted, but he's popping it open and just sort of
And you're sure
messing with this thing.
You're sure Boodle won't know about this place?
I don't think so. It was an old contact of mine that told me about it. What the hell happened to you guys? She notices your disheveled, bullet-ridden appearance.
I mean, the kid was a good drive. He's good behind the wheel.
My brother's the best.
We
He's learned a lot. He's a natural, rather.
don't stress it. We just know that we were a proper distraction, and we got him off our tail before we made our way here. I hope.
I hope so too.
Now, were you tailed? Were you clean?
No, I nobody followed me. I don't think they did. I hope not. What the hell happened back there? Like I thought we had a plan. Like what was that?
It was Rat. It was Rat. He did a shoddy job getting into the tower.
What are you saying?
I'm saying he probably tripped an alarm.
Rat's a pro. It was that explosion. What happened with Boodle? Is Boodle working with the Mooies?
That's impossible. Like
knows?
I've known him for years. He has always been super passionate about the cause. He has no reason to have been involved with them. Like it had to have been something else. Like I just don't even understand what could have happened.
I mean, look, manories are not very stable. Once you start messing with the code, Boodle, I don't know. Boodle didn't seem too stable to me.
He was happy to go out for the cause.
Go for the cause. He was still standing as we drove off, kid.
Well, yeah, I mean,
You were with him.
Well, that's what I'm saying is that he was ready to sacrifice himself. He said it himself in front of all of us.
Sacrifice himself. But, kid, you were with him that whole time.
Yeah, what are you talking about? Sacrificing himself.
Well, that's what he said, right? Is that he was gonna leave, do what needed to get done so we could get out of there.
Listen, if you want to learn what it is to do what we do, First thing you do is you don't leave anyone in the crew behind. You either bring them as a body, or you leave them as a body.
Well, I was trying to do that last one.
You were trying to do that?
Well, he jumped out of there and was going crazy, so I was leaving him to his fate.
Yeah, he was still standing when we left.
Yeah, I know.
We never should have left him. I can't believe that happened. This is awful. Like everything is ruined now. Like what are we gonna do?
No, it's not ruined. No. We could still salvage this somehow.
What are you talking about? You're covered in bullet holes. Like we're hiding out in the middle of nowhere. How are we gonna do this?
Well, if the Mooies are out looking for us, then no one's protecting the cheese.
Now, look, we can't go planning this yet. We're not out of the woods.
That's right. The Mooies, they have a system. They have power. They have people watching everywhere. Like we're gonna have to sit on this for a while. Like, we can't.
Wait, where's Wally?
What? Didn't he come with you guys?
Yeah, he was driving the van.
He's driving the van, and
He's still out at the van?
I don't know. Wally?
Do we go out there?
I'm already leaving. Yeah.
All right.
Wally's missing, right?
Oh, yeah, we haven't found
So we
him
go.
yet.
Yeah.
So we all go outside looking for Wally, and what rat rolls up from under the truck,
Yeah.
covered in oil. He's like,
I don't know if this thing's gonna be salvageable, boss. Might have to find some other wheels.
Well, it looks like some wheels are rolling up right now.
oh shit.
What is that, a van?
What do we do, Felicity? This is your homestead.
Are these friends of yours?
Any neighbors?
No, I've never been here before. I just got the location from my friend. I don't know who any of these people are.
Yeah. Should we end it there?
Yeah,
All right.
the end.
All right.
That's the place. We're all like, oh, we all look at each other.
what?
Dun, dun, dun.
Is that a problem?
That seems like a problem. Let's go right into it. This is like the bomb mobile. This thing could like shoot mortars. Like this thing comes out of the forest and it is brutal. He is driving behind the wheel, crazy in his eyes. The same scene as the three of us. Garth and Felicity and Winston. We are in front or in back of, as the case may be, the van that we drove around that's now totally destroyed. But now a souped-up combat van is coming at us with
So
a
it's
crazed demolitions
It's
expert.
the three main characters?
It is. That's right.
All right.
It's almost like fireworks are going off and just like, explosions start. The ground starts exploding around us as ordnance starts raining down on us.
Mm-hmm. Felicity's just like, oh shit. And she like runs for the disheveled house that's just sort of like crumbling ruins to try and take cover.
Garth is like, actually kind of tackles her to the ground as like a and the house bursts. And he's like, we got to get in the fields. It's this uncut grass that's going to save our lives.
Yeah, I think that Winston just runs after Garth or runs the way that Garth said.
Wally steps out of the outhouse.
I know, right? Huh? Zips up his pants. What?
Felicity's just get off me. I can run on my own. Like, get off of me.
Well, then run. Run because your life depends on it.
Thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
And she like pushes him off her and she gets up and starts running kind of on a diagonal away from the house
All
into
right.
the field.
Let's get weird. It says Winston as he sort of takes out another sort of flask. He has a lot of like condensed milk on him. He like shares it with people. He just has a bunch of weird gen tech on him basically. And so one of the things that he grabs off his belt, it seems to almost be like a smoke bomb or something like that, or a glass orb, like, like a snow globe that he sort of shakes up and then smashes onto the ground behind us as we're running away. And as that happens, it's like a tangled mass of foam starts to crop up, and then a large quartzite tree explodes out of the ground. It has no leaves on it. It's just made out of like crystal, though, basically. And it's pretty wide, sort of giving us a little bit of cover so that the van can't run us down.
Right. And we see like Rat and Wally actually kind of scooting off in another direction
Yeah,
as the three of us.
Yeah, we're running for
rush
the
through the
fields.
This is this is faster than I've run in a long time.
Come on, keep up, old man. And she's like zigzagging through the field, trying to make like a.
I only got a few more of those. I can keep throwing them down.
You know what? Well, let's bait him. Let's use that thing. Can you, how good's your arm, kid?
Pretty good.
All right.
Went all state in grab ball.
Here's what we got to do. We're going to...
I'm only a natural at two things. Making cheese and throwing balls.
All right.
Do you need more time to catch your breath? I mean, there's only a crazed guy after us shooting us.
That's what we need. Look, me and Felicity are going to draw its fire, and I need you to throw that ball right under it, man.
You can trust me.
All right. So I stand up and start waving my arms.
And I crouch down and start circling around.
This is crazy. This is my friend. What are we doing? And she's just kind of standing there, like looking,
Waving her arms
van.
and yelling.
Yeah,
yeah, good call.
Awesome. Let's see how this scene ends.
All right. We interrupt our story here and we'll resume in our next communique. Hey everybody, I wanted to pop in here and let you guys know that we are starting a Patreon page where if you like the show and you'd like to support the kind of content that we've been making, help us pay for simple stuff like server costs and keeping the website up and running and all that good stuff, and help us reach goals like getting you guys some possible live streaming, you can go to our website and go to our Patreon link or to our Patreon page. Look for Board Ghost on Patreon. I was one of your players, John Holt. You can find me on Twitter at Lord Joho.
Yes, that's correct.
Find me on Instagram at board_ghost. And you can listen to my other podcast at newtoyoushow.com. Ken, where can people find you?
Hey, everybody. You can find me, Ken Breeze, at Berlingsbeard, Berlings, on Twitter, on Instagram, and my website. Check me out. I'm a concierge DM. I also do Twitch streaming on Wednesday nights, John.
All right. And Dee, where can people find you?
I'm Dee Gailey. You can find me around and about, sometimes on Twitter at MixNerd, MXNURD.
All right. To learn more about the players and the engine in our story, visit boardghost.com. You can attempt to pierce the veil and contact us at BoardGhostWorld on Twitter. Shout out through the ether if you have desires we can fulfill. You can follow us on Facebook, and you can leave reviews and comments on iTunes or your preferred listening portal. Please take a moment to follow us so you don't miss out on the latest episodes. We'd like to thank Pat Couples for our theme song and interlude music. You can find more about Pat at patcouples.tumblr.com or on his band's website, hotelsandhighways.com. If you're not alone in the void, share our stories. The more they are consumed, the truer they become.
Dying don't agree with me.